You don't get to make an egregious, offensive game and then cry victim when people are offended. You literally put "become a woman's worst nightmare" in the game description. A description that you removed, by the way. I find the situation with No Mercy absolutely hilarious, and for 3 reasons. 1, the response from Xerax Games, aka the developers. 2, the backlash itself being disproportionate to the popularity of the game. I mean, these guys managed to piss off everyone, both for making the game and for removing it. And to clear up a bit of confusion, Steam did not remove the game. It was banned in 3 countries and delisted from Steam in those areas, but was still otherwise available. The developers themselves did pull the game. And 3, the freedom of speech crowd defending the game. Freedom of speech is not freedom from consequence. If you make incel rage-bait games, don't be surprised when people are enraged. It's a crazy lesson, I know, who would have thought? But anyway. So what is No Mercy? Well, if you haven't heard already, No Mercy is an adult visual novel, a subgenre on Steam that gets filled with low-effort slop games every week. It's made in Unreal Engine, so it has this plastic, photorealistic look to it, which I think is part of the reason the game was singled out and so upsetting to the mainstream audience. Now, before I get into the details of this game, an obvious trigger warning is due. This game talks about violence against women, assault, and some non-consensual interactions. So go on, take a moment. Are you ready? Alright, let me tell you what. No Mercy is a... Sorry, let me try that again. No Mercy is a... I can do this. I can say it. No Mercy is an incel incest grape simulator. Oh, that hurt. That one hurt. It's hard to get out. I can't even say that. Make a game about it. Anyway, the protagonist's dad is on a business trip and catches his mom having an affair. They snap a quick pic and use the evidence of an affair as blackmail to slowly seduce the mom into more and more heinous acts. Throughout the entire experience, the mom is visibly distraught, traumatized, and ultimately coerced into more and more sexual favors. The developers did not hold back in showing how upset the mom was in these scenes and really emphasizing the assault as if the premise wasn't enough. But that's just the main plotline. Let's not forget about other literary masterpieces like more incest via sex with your aunt, Incest 2, this time it's consensual. A mother who sleeps with you so that you stop selling weed to her son. A woman who's really desperate for cash, so naturally you ask for sexual favors, like anyone would. And what really drives home how awful this game is that part of the description was see every woman for what they truly are, or something along those lines. So all women are desperately wanting to be assaulted? That's what you think women want? To be blackmailed and assaulted. This is why this game receives so much backlash. It leans so heavily into incel beliefs in a time when it's truly impacting people's lives. I'm not saying this game would increase the behavior of people that have these thoughts, but it's clearly upsetting to the people that are already dealing with men like this in their life. And make no mistake, there are men like this out there. So that's what the game is about. What about the... To be completely honest, I can't pinpoint the exact catalyst that placed this game on everyone's radar, but it certainly didn't help when British Home Secretary Yvette Cooper labeled the game as repugnant. Now, when a high-profile political figure hears about a game like this, it's a surefire bet that the mainstream media follows, which it did, and amplified the discussion already on TikTok and Twitter. The views and comments reaching the millions from there. Basically, it was one big snowball effect followed by the Streisand effect when they tried to remove the game. The backlash was swift and loud, and while the developers tried to blame content creators, most of the content creators just took a look at the game's description and said, yeah, we can get rid of that one, and moved on. When it comes to the developers' response, again, I find it absurdly hilarious because their defense is just filled with so many holes. They start off by trying to discredit the people attacking the game by saying they use images of the wrong game with a snarky little jab, saying, I hope this game survives. Like, okay, who cares? The subject matter of the game is what people take issue with. Next, they try to say people confuse fiction with reality and insinuate that the people outraged are under the impression that those playing the game will go out and commit these acts. But no, people just don't want this game in their fiction or in their reality. Why not both? One of the dumbest arguments they present, in my opinion, because there are quite a few, is that Xerx's game says, if the game was that upsetting, why not just quietly report it? No one would have found out about the game if people didn't make such a big deal out of it. Are you stupid? In what world do people just quietly allow a game like this to exist? There was a massive outcry when they removed the fucking camel toe on a gacha character's outfit. You think anyone's letting your incel game slide? You're out of your mind. I'm gonna end this video off by saying what I think, the part that no one truly cares about. So my position on the topic is this. There are far worse games on Steam than No Mercy. In fact, if I'm being honest, I would argue this game is pretty tame compared to a lot of the adult games you can find on Steam. I think this game just flew too close to the sun and caught the eye of too many people, leaned too hard into incel mindsets like see women for what they truly are, don't take no for an answer, become every woman's worst nightmare. Jesus Christ, man, what are you on about? Games like Corruptions of Champions, Mad Island exists, and no, I won't go into detail of those games, thank me later, but even the images used in those games aren't the photorealistic renders that got this game in hot water. P.S. Fear and Hunger is a really fantastic game that has arguably worse content than No Mercy, and don't even get me started on RimWorld.